the former National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney, John Hanna. John, always good to have you on the Iranian dust-up here, and how the Iranians are responding and still talking about closing down the Strait of Hormuz, of course, a crucial oil tanker passageway that could send prices skyrocketing if they were to succeed in doing so. Where is this going?
Well, it remains to be seen, Neil. I do think the president is clearly taking a page out of his North Korea playbook. In the case of Kim Jong-un, I think he's convinced that his bellicose rhetoric, the economic pressure, and the credible threat of force did succeed in bringing North Korea to the negotiating table. And we'll just have to see if that works with Iran. But no one should underestimate the risks, because while we can hope that the Iranians will roll over and sue for peace, I don't think we can do any planning on that basis. The Iranians are likely to react in ways that we can only anticipate now.
You know, he's also going to be, no doubt, trying to dial back some of the criticism he's gotten over his visit with Vladimir Putin. I'm not imagining the fact that almost every day he comes out with a statement to prove how tough he is on the Russians. And indeed, he has been tougher than most American presidents in the post-World War II era. But today, tweeting that I'm very concerned Russia will be fighting very hard to have an impact on the upcoming election, based on the fact that no president has been tougher on Russia than me. He goes on to say they will be pushing very hard for the Democrats. They definitely don't want Trump. What did you make of that?
Well, on the one hand, it's important, I think, that the president does recognize the threat that's out there to the integrity of our election process. On the other hand, I'd prefer he doesn't put it in a partisan context. This is a threat to the entire country, to both parties, and I'd wish that he would now come forward with a real action plan to guarantee election security and to really let the Russians know about the very real consequences they'll face if they again cross this red line and meddle in our elections.
Well, what does that mean, though? When they cross this red line, they're clearly, cooking up something. Both sides seem to agree with that. Republicans have already pre-planned, as you know, some sanctions if they even think about doing that. Oddly enough, the president hasn't commented on whether he'd approve such a measure. Should he?
I do think he needs to come out and support some kind of plan, whether it's the plan that's currently available in Congress that Senator Rubio is among the sponsors of, or whether it's a plan developed in his White House to clearly communicate to the Russians that if they again are found to be engaged in fairly large-scale meddling in our elections, to disrupt our elections on either side, there will be very heavy consequences for them to pay.
John Hanna, it's always a pleasure and an honor to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.